There's a little girl in town that she was born with some very serious conditions. I had the opportunity to have her in the studio, and we created some beautiful images. Some of them were composites to kind of show that, every condition has...
Meet Ashley Lowder, one of North Alabama's most sought-after maternity and newborn photographers. Known for her incredible attention to detail and high-touch service, Ashley is not only an artist but also an educator dedicated to helping others elevate their craft.
Babies often have to relieve their bladder, and it's normal, it happens. And the baby was relieving his bladder, and naturally, due to the anatomy of it went over his head onto his mother, okay? And so his fire hose onto his mother, and the dad goes, "Oh no," and turns, and I'm standing over here.
It's like a guy.
And then he's like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no," just back and forth, probably 5 times. He didn't know what to do. And it was like a sprinkler in my studio.
Okay, welcome back to the Outspoken Artist for a second time. Ashley?
2.1.
2.1, yeah, 2.1.
Yep.
First video did not record the actual video. Well, the first interview. And second one, it was out of focus, and now we're here. So
Okay.
we're officially doing this now.
We got it.
Okay. Hi, I'm here with Ashley Lowder, and you are based out of Huntsville, Alabama?
Huntsville.
Huntsville. What did I say?
I think you said Huntsville.
It's my accent. It's okay. But tell me about your babies, the photos that you take, those beautiful little angels that come to your studio.
Well, what do you want to know about the babies?
Okay. Tell me, what are some of the most precious memories you've had photographing someone's newborns?
Okay, so the most precious memories that I have, it's more to do with a subset of people that I work with. So sometimes they're referred to as rainbow babies or rainbow mamas. A rainbow baby is a baby that's been born after a loss. So whether they've lost a pregnancy, lost a child, after infertility, just after loss. And I'm a rainbow mom. I've had 6 miscarriages. And so I've got 2 of my kids are rainbow babies. And that is a really interesting journey to go through. There's a lot to celebrate.
Right.
But I think unless you've been there, you don't understand the grief and the guilt and the everything that goes along with it.
Of course.
So the most precious things that I get to help with is to help moms and dads and families to celebrate this new life and this new part of their family, while also not forgetting and honoring what came before,
Of course.
and the loss that they experienced or the journey that they've had. So those are the most poignant and emotional things that I get to do, is to help moms like that. And I've had experiences with moms that are having, say, a maternity session, but baby's not going to make it. And so this is all they're going to have. And that's definitely the most touching that I've been able to do.
That's wonderful. Has there been I'm sure there's been more than one, but is there a particular image, photo, or portrait that you've taken that when you saw the outcome of how it all came out, it solidified the reason why you're doing what you're doing?
Yes. There's a little girl. I'm not going to name her because I didn't ask permission for this.
Fine.
But there's a little girl in town that she was born with some very serious conditions. And it was one of those situations where you don't know how long she's going to be with us, or really how this is going to look, because she was so little. Like, what is this going to look like in 2 weeks, in 2 years, hopefully, maybe. And I got to have the opportunity, excuse me, lots of talking. I had the opportunity to have her in the studio, and we created some beautiful images. Some of them were composites to kind of show that, every condition has some kind of a color or a ribbon or a mascot, so to speak. And we used that and those colors and created this as a way of showing hope. And she ended up sharing that image with these communities, with families that have children with the same conditions, just as a way of saying, hey, look, here's an image of hope. And I still go back to those. That was actually a couple of years ago. I still go back to those images and just think about how special that little girl was. And you learn something, even from these little itty bitty babies that you work with.
It's wonderful. It's a beautiful story. It's a very beautiful story.
Here.
I'm intrigued. I've been asking this a few times.
Okay.
When was the last time you've done a personal project?
Ooh, I like this question.
Okay.
I don't do it often, but we should all do it more. But I actually had the opportunity to do the invitational competition with Pro Prince
I
this last
remember.
year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was a really interesting competition, different from any other competition I've ever done. And I really liked doing that personal project. It's one that I took very seriously, that I internalized, that it was a passion thing for me. And I was fortunate enough to have been one of the finalists. And it was really fun to see my name up there with some big wigs, that you see, that you idolize a little bit. But that was last year that I did that. I got to include my little girl. I got to include one of my favorite models. It was just a great time.
That's great. That's great. What a great feeling. When you produce something. How was that entire competition process like? I never competed in those types of pro prints or WPPI.
Well, that one is very different.
So how was that experience? How did that go?
Well, first of all, I was so like, what do you mean? Because I messaged them. I said, well, what are the rules? We compete in these different competitions, in these expos, or in these different organizations, and there's always a very clear set of rules. Or it's like reading a handbook. And I'm fine. I'm there for it. I want to know the rules. But I actually asked, what are the rules for this competition? And they messaged me back and they said, just do it. Just go. And I as a creative, I actually had to go, wait a minute. Like, you're actually taking all the blocks off. I'm almost overwhelmed. I don't know what to do.
Right.
But it was a great competition. The category was interesting. It was tarot cards. But that was all the information they gave, was just, here are the tarot cards. Here's what they mean. Go. Do whatever you want. And so I chose strengths, and I work a lot with maternity and moms and kids and babies. So I kind of dove into that vein of a mom and strength. And it was just a really great experience. I'll share the image with you if you want.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I remember a little bit when you made the announcement on Instagram, and that was pretty cool. Congratulations. And that's really, really neat. Do you have any other creatives in your family, or is that?
Oh, yes.
So where's the creative side of your family
So
come from?
My entire family is creative, but we're actually mostly musicians. And I'm a musician as well. So not as many visual artists, but we do have some. My grandmother was a very talented oil painter.
Wow.
So I have one of her paintings in my home.
My God, how old is that painting?
I don't know. I should ask her. She is still with us, so I should ask her when she painted it. But that's got an interesting story too, because her signature is not on it. Back then, she took a painting class, and apparently this was a normal practice, that she painted this while a student in his class, and he signed the painting. And I was like, really? I don't think that would happen nowadays, but I guess back then it was normal that the man who was teaching studied or signed the paintings. So
What an interesting practice.
I keep telling her I'm going to bring it, and she's out west. So I'm going to take her, and I'm going to take it to her. I want to have her sign it. So
Nice. How's your PPA been so far? Trying to see the inner workings of it.
the membership as a whole, or
Just in general.
imaging, it's great. I love it here. I love the people here. I love the people that you can learn from here. And I think if you really dive into it, the classes are great. I always get something, but it's about the people and the connections that you make and the shoulders that you get to rub, and like the inspiration that you get from being around all these different people that are like-minded, but also in different phases of of the same industry. It's great.
I would agree. I want to ask you one last thing.
Okay.
I'll ask you where people can find you, which I asked you before, but we'll do it again. In regards to either legacy or what kind of impact will you like to leave behind? Because at some point we're all going to expire, and we leave things behind, right? So what kind of impact do you want to have?
It's a really deep question. I thought we were going to be goofing around here. We're being all serious.
I'll turn her around then. I'll turn her. All right, that's fine. We'll skip it. How about this one? We talked about it before. What is the most obscure request?
No, how would I answer a different one?
Okay, go for it.
Weird, like the funniest thing that's ever happened in my studio.
I like it.
Okay, let's do that one. Because I had this one in my head yesterday. I thought that's what you were going to ask me. This was during a newborn shoot. And we had this little baby. He was not clothed. Little boy, okay? I handed him to his dad, and his dad is holding him on his chest like this. So his head's here, his bum's on his chest. And I was trying to get mom in the frame where I wanted her before handing her the baby, just making things easier. He's holding the baby like this, facing his wife. And babies often have to relieve their bladder. And it's normal, it happens. And the baby was relieving his bladder, and naturally, due to the anatomy of it, it went over his head onto his mother. Okay, and so his fire hose onto his mother, and the dad goes, "Oh no!" and turns, and I'm standing over here,
It's like a gut.
and then he's like, "Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!" Just back and forth, probably 5 times. He didn't know what to do, and it was like a sprinkler in my studio, and I will never forget because we were all just dying laughing, and my assistant is hearing this from the other room and, "What's going on?" and starts running and thinking something horrible is happening, and he's just covering my studio.
Please tell me that you took some pictures of this happening.
I wish I had.
Ugh.
I wish I had. He was just outside of the light.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't have really lit.
Oh, that would have been hilarious just to get all those action shots. And then he looked at him.
I mean, I've gotten my fair share of really funny dad expressions when baby has an accident in their arms. It's always glares. I throw it in the gallery.
They love him, right?
Oh, well, mom does. Yeah, I throw them in the gallery just for fun. Like I do in-person sales. We'll be there, and all these really sweet images. And oh, look at that, that's so great. And then this one pops up of dad just like with
That-
and it's
That's the one that gets printed. It gets printed, and then you put it on the little 4x6, and
yeah.
they're great. They're great. Okay, where can people find your work?
My work, my website is ashleylowderphotography.com, LOWDER. My Instagram is ALP, as in Ashley Lowder Photography, Huntsville, ALP Huntsville.
Awesome. Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining me a second and a half time. Thank you for coming. Check her out, and also you're around. You're around, Jeff, everybody. We'll all hang out.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.